Hi, everybody. Welcome to Reader's Intrigue, where authors are going to read the first chapter of their book so that we can be intrigued and maybe find a new book to read. Get comfy, get cozy. Let's listen.
Hi, friends. My name is Laura Elizabeth, and I'm so happy to share with you my book, All Is Now Lost. It is the book one in the Island Mystery series. And today I'm going to tell you just a little bit about me. I'm going to read to you the very first chapter from All Is Now Lost. And then I'm going to share with you some information about how we can connect and get to know each other. I am Laura Elizabeth, and I live in the metro Atlanta area. I have lived all of my life on the eastern seacoast, up and down in different states, in different cities. But it was my trip almost 2 decades ago to a magical island called Defusky Island, which is off the coast of Hilton Head, South Carolina. It's in between Hilton Head and Savannah, Georgia. That was so life-changing, so incredible, so wonderful that it was the inspiration for my book, All Is Now Lost, and in fact, the entire Island Mystery series. I am working on book 2 now, but have lots of ideas for other stories that will all fit within the Island Mystery series. All Is Now Lost is a cozy mystery, which means the protagonist is the main character is the amateur sleuth who solves the mystery. And I'm going to introduce you to Carr Jepson, who is our amateur sleuth. Carr moves from her home in Atlanta, Georgia, to Mongin Island, which is what I've renamed Defusky Island in my stories. So Carr moves from Atlanta to Mongin Island, and she opens a bookstore called Books Brew. And it's the island's only bookstore and does have a tea shop. So for hot and iced teas. And so in honor of Carr, I have brewed up a mug of my favorite peppermint tea, and I'm going to begin and introduce you to Carr and Books Brew. So I hope that you enjoy this. Here we go. Chapter 1. So this is our new island hotspot, I hear someone called from the doorway of Books Brew, the bookstore I had just opened. I was in the far back corner, polishing the tall oak shelves, trying to bring out their natural patina. Instantly, I realized I had forgotten to lock the door behind me when arriving earlier. Hello? I answered, trying to decide my next move. I was in it now. I stood and started to move slowly towards the front of the store. Just want to welcome you to the neighborhood, so to speak. Say hello and all that. Should I come back? In the front room stood a tall man with what seemed like a perpetual tan. He was wearing a roomy gray sweatshirt with a black dog logo across the front. His jeans were worn and faded. He looked casual, comfortable, and relaxed, with both hands tucked into his front pockets. Picking up the pace, I smiled and greeted him quickly. No, please come in. It's so nice to meet you. I'm Carr Jepson. Thanks for popping in. I'm sorry to say there isn't much to see yet. I'm just getting started, really. Carl Tibbins, pleasure. Welcome. It's great to see some new life on our main street, he said as his large hand swallowed mine in a firm shake. When are you expecting to open? I bet you want to be ready for the busy season, right? Carl asked. When the tourists come, it's everybody's busy season, that's for sure, even mine. I nodded as he spoke. Yes, that's exactly what I'm hoping for. The inventory and all the pieces will fall into place for the busy season. I want to hit the ground running. How'd you land on Mongin Island? This place is a pretty well-kept secret. How'd you stumble upon our quirky little hideaway? I smiled at him. You're right about that. My family came here for a vacation 15 years ago, on a whim, really. No one we knew had ever seen or heard of this place. but the seed was planted for me when I read a magazine story about a month or so before our trip. I was intrigued. The picture sold me, and the family was up for the challenge of trying to find a new place. It was love at first sight, I guess you might say. He nodded vaguely, as if he had heard this story, or a version of it, many times before. A magazine, you say? Interesting. I paused, deciding how much to share before continuing. We purchased a home on the Rosemont Resort property and have been vacationing here a few weeks at a time for years. But I only moved here full-time recently. And well, one day last month, Barb Hawkins and I bumped into Alan as he was packing up his t-shirt store. The rest, I guess you could say, is history. Can I make you a cup of tea? Please come in and sit for a minute. Carl smiled kindly, removed his fishing hat, and replied, "Sure I'm not interrupting you?" I could already tell he wanted to know more about what was happening here, and I knew enough about island culture to know. We were having tea and talking, no matter what else I had been working on or what I had previously planned to do. "I insist," I said. "Please make yourself comfortable. Well, as comfortable as you can in those straight-back chairs. Be back in a bit." In just a few minutes, we were settled at the long farm table in the back room, sharing our collective lists of the benefits of living on Mongin Island. We agreed on quite a few things right away. The idea that there were hardly any cars on the island, there were no busy roads, no crowds, no traffic lights, no bridge. These were all things we appreciated. Carl shared that he lived in the lighthouse and ran the museum housed in the front of the store there. It's not really a working lighthouse, as you likely already know. I mean, it has a light and all, but it's just a matter of flipping a switch at night. The lighthouse is not really helping much from its current location. I like to say it's more of a tradition than a function. Years ago, I knew I needed more to keep me busy. It's been at least 20 years, maybe more, that I've been working on selling properties here on the island, and a little on the mainland too. You know how it is here. There aren't that many of us to go around. Heck, I'm not the only one who wears multiple hats. We all do a little of everything. That's how we make it all work here, I guess. I suppose I never bumped into you since the property you purchased is part of the resort, he said. People tend to check into the inn, and if they catch island fever, they often look first at the properties they can see from their hotel room or a restaurant or whatever. You know, the resort has their own realtors that sell lots and homes there, and that's fine. It leaves the other 7 miles of the island for me, he laughed. It's funny you say that, because that's exactly what happened to us, I said. We stayed at the inn, experienced a resort life, and really didn't explore much beyond there. The resort had everything we needed and wanted in a second property. The house we looked at was perfect. We made the deal. We all love the resort amenities, the golf, the tennis, the horseback riding, the restaurants, and even the spa. To have all of that within walking distance of our home worked for us then, and it certainly works well for me now. It really is nice to be new to the island as a full-time resident and have a built-in neighborhood and social life. Everyone has been really welcoming, actually. We spent a few more minutes chatting about island life. Then Carl looked down at his watch. Heavens, apologies. I've kept you long enough. I know you have a lot on your plate right now. Setting up a new business can be a challenge. He stood up quickly, grabbed his empty mug, and walked familiarly to the little kitchenette Alan had installed years ago when the shop was his t-shirt gallery. Clearly, Carl had been here many times before, and he likely knew the store better than I did. I smiled, but said nothing. As he moved away from the sink, he said, "Tell me what you plan to do with the room we were just in. I imagine building an inventory is no easy task, especially just getting started and all." Alan used to share a meal with his customers, or sometimes use that table to design a new shirt. Although it really didn't suit him well, he liked this store. He liked watching the golf carts come and go. It's a great location, so close to the ferry landing and all. What were you thinking about that room? I was immediately curious. Was he going to offer me some kind of joint venture? Did he know someone who maybe wanted to share this space with me? I could tell Carl had his finger on the pulse of this island, and he would be a good ally. So I told him a little bit of my story. Actually, the idea of the store has been something on my heart for a long time. I just didn't realize it was there until this opportunity presented itself when we bumped into Alan as he cleared out. This whole venture came as a surprise to me, really. It was like suddenly I had the time, the means, and the place to bring it to life. In my mind, I've always envisioned a store where customers are welcome to come in, find a new book, visit with others, make new friends, discuss books, and get to know people. Basically, I imagined it to be a place that serves as a gathering spot and happens to sell books. He seemed interested, so I continued. Here on the island, there isn't a place for books that we have read and know that a neighbor may enjoy. On the mainland, we can always donate books to the library, but we can't do that here. So I was thinking the room we were just in would be a room we would use for book trades. You bring one, you can take one, that kind of thing. This way, everyone can still shop at Books and Brew. Everyone can be and will be welcomed here. That big table is perfect for events and for people could just gather around. You know, us Southerners really enjoy sharing a meal together, breaking bread together. I want customers to make it their own. Carl started to say something and then he paused. He looked at me deeply. It could have been the first time he really saw me. Quietly, he said, "Amazing. What a clever idea. Might not make you much money, but definitely will make you rich." We walked together to the wood and glass front door where he paused. Not sure if this is helpful, and it's okay to say no, but I have boxes and boxes of pre-loved books. It's not unusual for people to leave books when they move. Getting stuff off this island is a challenge, and it's expensive to barge everything back and forth. Lots of times we find a box or two in someone's attic or in the back of a closet. You know, as a realtor, sometimes things like clutter can be a deal breaker. So I always just remove stuff like this before the final walkthrough. It kind of keeps the deal going. I sort the boxes as I get them and get rid of the relics and the oddball things. I've always intended to bring a box or a bag to the mainland library when they're having their book sale, but never got there, and I've just been stacking them up in my back bedroom. I would be most pleased to donate them to your room. All you have to do is say the word, they'll be yours. I'm not sure why, even after all my time on the island, this generous act still surprised me. Carl, that would be truly incredible. Are you sure? That would be a game changer for us. I really didn't want to open the store with an empty room. I have some books of my own I can donate, but honestly, I have a hard time parting with the ones I read to my children. And then consider it done. Just come by whenever it works for you. You can take what you want. I can help you move them. I could just throw a box or two in my cart and just drop a box off here and there. You know, I live in the rooms behind the museum at the base of the lighthouse. Just come around the back. My door is usually unlocked, like most islanders. If I'm not there, you can help yourself. He smiled, put his hat back on, and walked quickly to his cart. See you soon. And great to meet you. I didn't miss the gentle nudge that islanders don't lock their doors. They don't keep people out. We welcome people in. We share what we have. We rely on each other to live here, often without a built-in network. Full-time residents are a small community. We need each other, for better or worse. We know our neighbors. This isn't some nameless place with nameless people. The resort provided a steady stream of visitors at the inn, but the residents were the backbone of island life. There were a lot of lessons in Carl's casual visit. Carl, thank you so much. Thanks for stopping by and for the books. I would love for you to catch up with Tripp. He's helping me set up and we will be working together once the shop opens. He will be so excited to learn about your donation. Please come back again soon, I smiled and waved as he turned his cart around and waved over his shoulder. I had a lot to learn about living in this place I loved. So that is chapter 1 of All Is Now Lost. I hope that you enjoyed it. I wanted to tell you that my book is available on Amazon.com. It's available at Barnes & Noble. And of course, it's available at your local bookstore. My website is The Island Mysteries, all one word, theislandmysteries.com. I'm also on Instagram, and my handle is The Island Mysteries. I would love to connect with you, to talk about the books, to talk about the characters, and to talk about the island that I love. So I'm signing off for now, wishing you lots of island magic. I hope that you enjoy All Is Now Lost. Thank you, friends.
Thank you again to the amazing author that read us a story. And be sure to check out all the other amazing shows on RB Media. Till next time. Bye.